Bill Hader, who's this comedian that you've seen a million times, he was on The Late Show.
David Letterman.
David Letterman. Mm-hmm. So they've taken this, and he's just telling this story of meeting Tom Cruise and talking to Tom Cruise, and then Seth Rogan. And what's wild about this is if you watch it and no one has told you this is a deep fake, you may not notice. It's so subtle. But he's talking about Tom Cruise, and all of a sudden he just kind of transforms into Tom Cruise. And he's like, yeah. And his face looks like Tom Cruise. But it's so subtle, the manipulation of the video.
You might even think he's just doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like Jim Carrey looks like the characters he does.
Right. He just has this rubber face that just makes him look like these guys. It's so subtle. Now, we're going to play the audio here, and if you happen to be watching The Blaze, you'll see it. Here's Bill Hader on Letterman, sorry.
And so it's like, you know, all these heavyweights, like, you know, Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., everybody. And at the end is like me, like, you know, like, hey, happy to be here, guys. You know, like,
and you can kind of see here how his face kind of looks
in,
like Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm. And even those guys are like, whoa, and he's super stoked to be there. You know, just like, yeah, oh, boom. You know, like, he's like,
wow. Stop.
It's uncanny.
What's interesting about it is, like, even when I watch it for the 10th time, I can't see when it changes. I can't see, and all of a sudden I'm just looking at Tom Cruise,
absolutely
and I never saw it change.
Right. And you think, I mean, it is so seamless. It looks like, if you didn't notice, you know, where I watch it is his teeth. Mm-hmm. His teeth are crooked. Tom Cruise has very distinctive teeth. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but Tom Cruise, his teeth, his center of his front teeth is off center. Okay?
No, never noticed that.
Yeah, so he has really a distinctive smile and distinctive teeth, and so does Bill Hader. And Bill's teeth are a little bit off. One of them is a little sharp and kind of crooked in the front. And so if you watch his tooth line, you can see when that kind of all of a sudden... The jagged tooth goes away. Rewind this a little bit and play back.
There's plenty more the impression coming up here in the video if you want to take it from where it is. The Seth Rogen part is incredible,
and some other supporting guys. And then Tom Cruise walks in.
My God. Look at that.
And even those guys are like, whoa, and he's super stoked to be there. You know, just like, yeah, oh,
see?
Boom.
Yep.
You know, like, he's like, wow.
Now see his teeth?
He's immediately excited when he walks into a room. And so he comes over and he sits next to me, and I think he had been briefed on some of the supporting guys, but he was like trying to place me, you know? So he sat down next to me and he's like,
look at that. Jeez. Look at that.
I love your work. And I went, oh, thanks. I love your work too, Tom Cruise. You know, like, thanks. And I go, yeah, you know, I'm friends with Judd Apatow and Seth Rogen, and they went to your house. And he went, yes. They did come to my house. And
he looks just like him.
I said, Seth Rogen was like, you know, it was amazing. He has like a bike track in his backyard. It's phenomenal. and I did a Seth Rogen impression, and it was like I did a magic trick. Tom Cruise was like, yeah. Wow. And he points to me. And he pointed at me and he goes, you do impressions and you're on Saturday Night Live. And I went, hey. It was like he won a game show. He was like, yeah, Tom.
So stop. So now here's why this is so important. Here's why you need to see this. Because like Stu said, you can't tell where it begins and where it ends.
Yeah, and kind of on your point, I mean, the teeth do change, but they change when his mouth is closed.
Yes.
So you never actually see the change happen.
Yes.
The rest of it is happening in front of your eyes, and I still can't see when it happens.
No, you can't.
It's just all of a sudden I'm looking at Tom Cruise or Seth Rogen. I mean, Bill Hader looks nothing like Seth Rogen, and yet still it somehow happens, and it looks natural. Mm-hmm. And so can you imagine someone, a political figure, you know, being, manipulated to say something that they didn't say or do something that they didn't do? It would be so incredibly easy.
Look, do you remember do you remember when I met with President Bush in the Oval and I said to him, why aren't you saying these things? Remember? Why? Because he was a different person. You know, he was like, and shoes.
When he was speaking publicly.
You know, and you're like, what are you talking about, man? Talking to him one-on-one, super crystal clear, very articulate, no calculation. And that was the understanding that I got from him. He's calculating because what he said was, when you're the president of the United States, every word, every shift of your eyes is analyzed. Okay? Now think of that. Every shift of your eyes is analyzed by who? The rest of the world. Imagine manipulating video so carefully and so subtly over time that nobody really notices it except for those who are really looking for tips on what is the president really saying.